All right, we're back right side of campus. A little bit of a technical difficulty today. Hopefully, everybody's still joining us here on the show. We'll try to get to as much as we can. You know, the joys of doing this show every day. Sometimes the technical side gets in the way of it. So there's not something we can do about it. So we just try to press on and try to find some success. Donnie, you there?
I am here, so we'll see what goes up. We'll see if we're even in the same link at this point. Even if, Jeff, we only have a show with just us and the producers here, I'm still sure we'll have a really good time and have some fun.
Yeah. Well, listen. Maybe behind the scenes, if producers could tell me if we're still in the same link, that would be helpful because I don't think we are. I see different chats. I see all sorts of different stuff. So we might have about 17 listeners today. So I'm sure. Look, see, nobody even watches that show. Look, I mean, they only had 17 listeners today. But yeah, listen, we'll press on and see what we can do today. Donna, you were discussing about had to go. You went out for your anniversary, which is nice. Hopefully that was a nice time. And yeah, I mean, look, Donnie, here's the thing. The link that went up, it's not the right show. It's Friday's show.
I don't know.
So
I was in the right chat box though with that other link that they had out there, or the original one that got put out.
big man, think you would have burned that shirt by now? Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna burn my shirt because I hate Yeah, I'm not happy with what the Sixers are doing. But again, like I've said, if it's all for Kawhi Leonard, I don't give a shit what they do. I just want to make sure they do something. So Donnie, I guess we'll work on getting this new link out. But hopefully everyone had a great weekend. We did. I did. I'm down the shore. Donnie's doing his thing. Donnie, I do hope at some point this week you and I can link up. After last week, I had to do some shows and stuff. We'll try to figure that out. But let's get into the morning headlines. Welcome everybody in for joining us here. Hopefully you enjoy the show. Donnie, we'll start out with Carmelo Anthony. He opts in, and I think around Oklahoma City, they're not too happy right now because I don't think anyone wants Carmelo Anthony to opt in. I think they wanted to see Carmelo Anthony go away. Not so fast. He's going to opt in, and he's going to be back next year.
No, it's awesome. It's actually awesome to watch how this works in the player's favor. A guy, you're right, that nobody wants. Nobody on the team wants him there. Coach probably doesn't want him there. GM certainly doesn't want him there. And last but not least, Jeff, the fans want to throw him to the curb as fast as possible. Like you have Westbrook out there, and I'm always down on Westbrook. I get a kick out of him just playing hero ball, and nobody can get along with him on the court, and fake triple doubles all over the place. But that's neither here nor there with Oklahoma City. Can you imagine you want to keep like Paul George, and you want to say like, you know what, Paul, if we keep you, why don't we go out and I don't know, make a push for LeBron or something like that. You stay, LeBron comes here. We'll see if we can make it work. We'll have some fun. Everybody's excited. And then you have this big ass anchor like the Titanic over here sitting, knocking on your door. Hey guys, I want in. Jeff, not for the minimum, like, hey, I'll stay, 5 million. Hey, give me 7 million. I'll come off the bench. No. Give me about 30 million next year when I am just a straight anchor on my ball club, which means I'm not going to get Paul George and nobody else is going to come here. But you know what? I'm going to get mine.
Yeah, that's really rough. I mean, he really is just anchoring down the entire team. Last year, Carmelo Anthony did struggle as well. It seemed at times Carmelo Anthony just doesn't have it anymore. And the worst thing about Carmelo is he doesn't want to admit that he doesn't have it anymore. He doesn't want to come off the bench. He doesn't want to come. He wants to play. He wants to start. He wants to be that guy. Yeah, and I saw the New York Post, I believe, wrote a pretty good article about he was laughing at the fans that they were angry about it. He's just kind of like that annoying guy, like Donnie, when you're like at a party and there's like some annoying person there and they just keep talking to you, it's just like, initially you're like, well, whatever, I'll just talk. But then it's like, you start to get to the point where you're just like, just dude, get away from me. In my head, like you're annoying me. Leave me alone. Like if I'm a Thunder fan, I'm just at the point where it's just like, it's annoying anymore. It's like, go away, bro. Like Carmelo Anthony is just like, and he's a nice guy off the court. I respect what he does off the court. I've always liked Carmelo, but he is a bit of a leech. He doesn't go away. It's in New York, he just wouldn't go away. And now he's in Oklahoma City, just won't go away. He just won't go away, Donnie. That's the easiest
No,
way
and
to.
it even gets back when he fought with Denver, Allen Iverson had a good team. But of course, I mean, it's clear he wanted to get back to New York. But again, doing the selfish thing, like I can't picture like LeBron would have done that. I mean, forget about championships or even better player. But you have to force yourself to New York City, where at the trade deadline, when the NBA, right around like February, you can't wait a couple months so you don't gut the franchise for the Knicks and go there as a free agent as opposed to saying trade and give up draft picks and players. And then also, who is negotiating these contracts? You remember Phil Jackson didn't even want him. And next thing you know, they come to an agreement, give him a max out deal. And the player option is the most hilarious thing in sports, where the player gets to decide if he wants to stay. But it's also about, I guess when you're at the end of your career, Jeff, he's made a ton of money and he's going to make 30 million. And once that contract goes away, maybe he leeches on to another team like the veteran. Hey, it's not bad work, Jeff, getting the veteran minimum for $5 or $6 million over the next like 4 or 5 years of his career that he's going to before he retires. It's always nice to go, but it's amazing where like sometimes no amount of money can be worth it, where you're not wanted. You ever work into a place where you're working or you're going to hang out or you go to a party, but nobody wants you there? Imagine that for the whole year, including the fans. Does he take the court, Jeff, and they boo him every night? What happens here?
I don't know. I don't think it's going to work out well, though. I mean, we know how it's going to work on the basketball court. Can be a limited a commodity. He's not going to do a ton. They're going to pay him. He's not worth $30 million, so I don't think it's never going to work there as far as them liking him. I don't think it's going to work out well. FIFA, Donnie, they're in the news, and what a surprise! They're in the news trying to take sole control of the World Cup when they should really be worried about games and what's going on in the World Cup. They're worried about what's going on off the pitch. And this hits double home to me because of the heritage that I possess. Listen, this is below the belt. This is Bush League by FIFA. If you don't know what I'm talking about, basically, Switzerland played Serbia on Friday. Switzerland won 2-1. Wasn't about them winning that angered Serbs. Actually, it did anger them because they were beaten by Switzerland, but it also angered them the fact that the two that scored the goals were ethnic Kosovars, Albanians. Basically, we all know the tensions between those two nations throughout the years. Albanians say Serbs, Serbs say Albanians, but the Serbs over the years have been a lot more pronounced in that hatred. I remember, Donnie, when Albania went to Serbia to play a qualifying game for Euro. There were tensions at that match. So basically, what these two did were after the goals, they displayed the double eagle in the celebration. Keep in mind, there's no racial message there. There's no graphic flip to the crowd, nothing like that. Just repping your heritage because you're Albanian. And FIFA is going to possibly ban them over that. Keep in mind, Switzerland is not qualified for anything yet. They haven't moved on to the next round, but they're under investigation for just illustrating the support for their country, Donnie, or their
Yeah,
country that
I
they
guess it's
belong
one of
to.
those banned things from FIFA where they try to get out of political statements. I guess I can see. I don't know what it was construed. It was pretty clear when he scored. Like he's taking a shot right there with that and giving Albanian pride. But I don't really know what the overall overtures toward FIFA and if it's like I'm sure it's not like the throat slash in the NFL which they outlaw and you get a penalty and a fine for. So, but they're probably pretty strict laws because there is a if Iran and Iraq play each other, I don't think you want to set off like another war going off just on the soccer field by making your allegiances to certain countries out there. But I don't really get into it that much. I know you know a lot more about that than I do.
But Donnie, if you're I don't know, German and or not, I shouldn't say German because that wouldn't be a good one. Any country that has a particular flag or something, and you make a reference to that, I don't understand the problem. I guess if you look at it, and I kind of take the cap off for a second and say, well, they are Swiss. What does that have to do with anything? I guess it is a general knock at the Serbs, but again, I don't think it's that big a deal. I don't think it's setting off any political issues. Easy for me to say though. I'm not governing the body.
Yeah, no, but
Donnie,
you're right about that. It's not a gang sign. He didn't lift up his shirt and had like an Albanian shirt underneath or like, a written slogan underneath the shirt. I mean, it was pretty tame there celebrating with what he did. So it is what's the penalty actually that they could decide on this, Jeff, or have they decided?
they could lose 2 games.
Really?
Yeah, amazing. Also, Donnie, if you guys are ever in the mood and you're looking some up on YouTube, not many people know about this, but you could I could tell you how much these countries hate each other by a few years ago there was a game between these two teams, Albania and Serbia. Google that or YouTube it, and you'll see what happened. It was a wild match. The game ended abandoned. It was a complete mess. But yeah, it's always going to be there. I don't have any problem with these two supporting the country that genocided them for many years. Let's move on here. LiAngelo Ball, Donnie, not selected in the NBA draft. Not surprising to anyone, but what was even more surprising was he wasn't drafted at all on any team. He wasn't added to a summer league, wasn't added on a free agent basis. Donnie, is that a surprise to you?
No, not a surprise at all. Because I mean, hey, look, you're going to play up to the family just because you want to keep the peace out there with Lonzo on the Lakers. But a point in time comes where you're trying to get down to business. You're trying to lure Paul George. You're trying to lure LeBron James. The last thing you need is another headache out there because doesn't give you a second microphone with LeVar Ball at that point, Jeff. If you actually did that and put him on the Lakers practice squad, then you got, because ESPN's ready, like TMZ out there, going to follow him around 24/7 if that's the case, just with the summer league alone, asking him questions about LeBron, asking him questions what he thinks of Paul George, asking him questions about his son already on the Lakers. So I think it's a good business move, especially by the Lakers. But again, if it's outside the Lakers, like Seattle or it's the Philadelphia 76ers, do you really want that headache coming around, Jeff? Because you see it all the time, even with like Hard Knocks in the NFL. 99% of the teams decline just because they don't want the cameras around. They don't want it behind the scenes. You don't want a microphone in his face, because LeVar is going to say something to promote himself and his sons and his business at the detriment probably of your team. I don't see any reason why he wasn't added out there on another basketball team. I wouldn't have done it if I was an organization.
The problem that his dad has made for him is, look, his son Lonzo's already in the league, and you're gonna have to put up with him for as long as he's in. He's not going anywhere. What you can do is you could basically kind of shut the other two out because you already know what the father's gonna do. Uruguay just scores again. Come on, let's go, Donnie. Come on, let's go,
Uruguay.
Uruguay. 2-0,
Uruguay.
baby. Let's go.
Does the
Come
game even matter
on.
for the Russians, Jeff? Does the game matter? As Russia's already moved on, haven't they, or
Russia's
no?
moved on. Russia's
Oh,
moved
yeah.
on. However, this is big, Donnie, for a lot of sports bettors. A lot of people pick Uruguay to beat Russia in this group. It's big. You want to win the group. That's important. By the way, Egypt has already taken a lead as well. Mohamed Salah, inshallah. Egypt scores 1-0, Donnie. In the 1-0 for the Egyptians. They want to win. It doesn't mean much. But back to the balls, Donnie. Um, Listen, the kid, unfortunately, is going to be shut out. It didn't matter. I see a lot of people saying he should have stayed in college. It wouldn't have mattered if LiAngelo went to UCLA or wherever he went. If he would have went to Iona or UCLA, wouldn't have mattered. He wasn't good enough, and he wasn't going to be good enough. He has very small flashes in his game, but other than that, he's a international player. That's just what he is. And the younger son,
His family will
the
take
younger,
care of him. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And the JBA, Donnie, this basketball league they're creating, if I'm a basketball fan, if I'm a fan of what you know men can do for kids in high school stuff, I don't know how you can't like that. I think it's a tremendous opportunity for a kid. You can't go to college, you can't go to high school, so I'm gonna go to a league where they're gonna pay me. I saw a cool article in the paper, Donnie, about that. Basically, these kids are making one, two, $3,000. They're being able to support their family off basketball. Where else would that opportunity come from if he wasn't around? He is doing things for kids. We have to remember that. But from a standpoint of his sons, he's not helping them a lot.
Yeah, I don't think the league ever actually takes off or goes anywhere. But it seems to me like the Ball family is pretty tight knit there, especially with Lon. I mean, you're looking at Lonzo Ball, Jeff, going pro. I mean, how many times could you just jettison your family and say, you know what, I'm here, I made it. I know you guys helped me along the way. I'm signing with Nike. I'm getting my own shoe with Nike. They don't want anything to do with you guys, but I'm going to make this bread and I'm going to be on my way. He stayed very loyal there, which leads you to believe that if the son doesn't make the second kid doesn't make it or the third kid doesn't make it, Alonzo's going to be the bread. Remember back in the day, Jeff, Team Dime with Mike Bibby? Mike Bibby supported like 15 people, it seemed, on his contracts there out west with the Sacramento Kings. Some people just stay loyal no matter what happens. Like LiAngelo Ball, if he doesn't make the NBA, he's not going to be out on the street hanging around. Neither is his dad. Lonzo's going to make a lot of money in the NBA, and he's going to support his family. So he could, hey, go have fun, play overseas, enjoy it. I don't think an education would have made that much difference there because I think his brother's going to take care of him anyway, Jeff.
I'll tell you this, and I mean this with the utmost. I'm a big basketball guy, Donnie. I think
Yeah.
that I think Lamelo will be the most talented of all three of them. I mean that. I think the size as he continues to grow, he's only 16. I think what he's doing at 16, quite amazing. He will be the best ball brother. You heard it here first. How he'll be that, I think he was stunted the most. I think you really took away a lot of his future if you're Levar. But Levar has a bigger thought. Listen, the fact that Levar's even in our heads, in our minds, I think that's quite amazing nonetheless. So we'll see. But I think Lamelo will be the most talented. One final story, Donnie. Edwin Jackson on the mound today. Edwin Jackson will take the mound for his not his ninth, not his 10th, not his
Mm-mm,
11th, not his 12th
mm-mm,
major league team.
mm-mm.
He'll take the
Nope.
mound for his lucky 13th major league team. Donnie, he's been on almost half the major league rosters. Another team, another career, another opportunity. Edwin Jackson, Ejax, came into the major leagues 2001. He was a sixth round draft pick, 190th overall by the LA Dodgers. He comes from Shaw College in Columbus, Georgia. He's been in the league for 15 years, Donnie. Edwin Jackson making another appearance. Why is this a story?
Yeah, no, it's a story because it's how baseball works. It seems opposite out there. Like you're looking at Oakland, Jeff. They're going to get Edwin Jackson, all because of what? They don't want to bring a young pitcher up, Jeff, to quote unquote start his clock. So you'd rather just say, hey, let's throw some caution to the wind. We got an extra game. Let's just get Edwin up here and pitch for us there. And is Ed lost Jackson for a reason? Because I can't. What team was it, Jeff? Was it the Cubs? I think it was like 15 or 16 straight, which is where he coined the nickname instead of Edwin was actually Ed lost Jackson. But is the bigger picture? Forget about Edwin Jackson. Forget about the White Sox. Forget about that. As us gamblers, Jeff, to see Zimmerman, who is $100 million con. I mean, again, he's not the same pitcher he was a couple years ago. I get that. To open up at 110, 115, money come in on Edwin Jackson on the road today, Jeff. What are we looking at with this line here? Edwin Jackson is now the favorite at Intertops today. I'm just astonished. I am.
I'm not. I don't know that I am. I mean, you have a veteran here who, listen, Donnie. I will admit and I will agree. He was with the Cubs and the Marlins about 2 years ago, and he wasn't good. But ever since then, he's, um, you know, I guess he's been somewhat okay. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why I would want to bet on him today. I guess you give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he'll just be that crafty veteran that comes in and is effective. But Donnie, I missed it throughout this whole story. I didn't even figure out who is he pitching for? Oakland? Is that who?
It's Oakland. Yeah, there you go. So you don't
Okay,
like
Oakland.
he just comes out of nowhere. He's throwing for Oakland on the road today. It's not like you're Oakland at home and maybe I don't know you're playing the I don't know like you just see Edwin Jackson's name pop up in there and then he takes money and is a favorite right now at some outlets.
Yeah, listen, I generally will understand stuff like this. Maybe he'll do one of these Bartolo Colon type performances where he'll just come in
Yeah,
and
like
they
yeah,
give you
five
four or
five
five.
innings, 2 earned hits, 4 strikeouts, a walk. It's like, boy, look at that crafty man out there. I mean, we've seen it all the time because the joke for me is there's another game out there today with a guy coming back on the mound who actually got exploded on in his rehab starts. So he's in line, Jeff, for 8 innings, 1 hit, and no earned runs today. It just seems to be like you can't factor it in and say, old man's going to take them out, and you start laughing. Next thing you know, through 6 innings, he only has 52 pitches out there, and he's throwing a gem.
Yeah, the White Sox are pretty bad, so I'm sure he'll be. That's what he plays there, right? White
Detroit
Sox.
Tigers today.
Yeah.
Tigers,
Oh,
Tigers.
Tiger guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Tigers can hit righties, so maybe he'll be
Yeah.
effective. Let's move on. We'll head down to the World Cup, where
Mhm.
we continue. We have another week here. World Cup, long tournament, but we enjoy it. We like it. Last round of games here in the group stage. We then head to the knockout stage, which is a lot better. Harry Kane, Donnie, hat trick yesterday against Panama, lowly Panama. And I think we see, Donnie, why Panama is the worst team in this tournament. They were dreadful yesterday. Win to nil betters, though. Tough break for
Hmm.
you. Panama scores a competitive goal. That's you know, like pulling teeth, but they were able to do it. When the no betters go down, but if you laid the 1.5, you laid 2, you laid 3, you laid 4, you won. It didn't matter. Easy win for England.
Now, Jeff, looking at that game yesterday, like I wanted to like I get it. Harry Kane scored 3 goals yesterday, right? And on paper, it's like, oh my god, but a little bit different than the 3 goals that Cristiano Ronaldo scored in his hat trick. 2 penalty shots and a ball that just tipped off him that he didn't even know. I don't think was coming his way, so he gets the 3. But it's still 3 goals, and you count it all. My question to you: should penalty kicks, Jeff, count as actual goals scored in a game?
Oh, sure. I mean, you still have to kick the ball into the net, Donnie.
No,
It's
no, no.
not.
I mean the goal. I mean the goal on the board counts, but you should get credit. Like now, hear me out on this, Jeff. I think it's the same way like in the NBA. If you get a technical foul, you could pick whoever kicks the penalty. But if you go in the box and you're taken down, right, and the penalty is on you, like the guy committed the foul on you, you kick the shot. I believe it should be a goal. But am I correct in soccer, Jeff, that you could just pick anybody to take the penalty kicks? Is that correct?
No, I mean, generally you have someone already picked that'll take it, and you have that set person. Like if Denmark, it's Christian Eriksen. With Portugal, it's generally Ronaldo. It's generally going to be the top player. Generally, though, they will pick it different sometimes. But yeah, listen, I mean, Harry Kane had a great day as far as goals are concerned. How he got those goals. Listen, at the end of the day, Donnie, they don't say, well, Harry Kane, he had 3 goals, but 2 were penalties and 1 was kind of lucky. We just say, hey, Harry Kane had a World Cup hat trick. You know what I'm saying? So for them, I hear you. The goals were kind of cheap, you could say, but you still got to step up. You still got to take you know, you still got to take the
Now,
penalty.
also, Jeff,
And they,
I need your opinion on one thing also before we move on to the next topic here in soccer. You talked about Panama, right? It's clear that, Panama stinks and you thought they were the worst team in the tournament. Now, again, I don't follow soccer all that much, but I know sort of how it's setting up because money is money, right? Through FIFA, Jeff. They're looking to expand the field. I believe it was from 32 to like 48 teams. Do we need 16 more teams to like just that shouldn't technically be there, get their ass kicked in that first round? Is that something as a soccer fan you are, Jeff, you want to see? Or is 32 fine and maybe a bad team or two slips in there, but you get the cream of the crop in the world? Is more better than that? Because
no,
Jeff, me from betting, less is
well, I think if you had maybe a few more, it wouldn't be bad. Because like what it would be, it would be Chile, it would be the U.S., it would be Italy, it'd be teams that probably should have been in the World Cup, not that aren't in, that do get in. But listen, I've been a wide critic, Donnie, of the qualifying set for this tournament. Many of you who, and by the way, this is a shot at most of you. This is a wide qualifying group. Many of you don't know that because you don't bet qualifying and bet anything else involving soccer. But I want to basically explain when you qualify for this, Donnie, there are many groups throughout the world, whether it's Oceania, whether it's Europe, whether it's Asia, they're all qualifying groups. And there are countries from San Marino to Turkey
Mhm.
to Croatia to Belize to whoever. All these different teams compete. I don't understand why certain teams are in. Like San Marino and Gibraltar and NTZ, they're just so poor. They're so underdeveloped. They have day jobs. They just come out and play soccer for fun.
yeah.
Um, I don't think they should be involved in qualifying. Again, teams like teams are starting to get going. I get it, but when you have a team where they have part-time players and things like that, it's just like Belgium. You look at Belgium; they had Gibraltar in their qualifying group and Estonia, both 2 teams that are dreadful. I mean, you're going to win 5, 6, 7, 8-0 against them every time. I do think they need to cut back qualifying. Qualifying is way too expensive.
No, it's a good point, but I just wanted your take on that because I know, look, as gamblers, look, it's more things to gamble on, it's more games, I get it. But it's the same thing when you talk about like, oh, the NCAA field, we should expand that even more teams. I mean, look, Jeff and I follow college basketball all the way down to the depths, and we have a lot of fun. But some of those teams matched up against 1 seeds. There's really no point in those games actually being played. So, I mean, I like the field of 32 because if teams are left out that are good, Jeff, that means you have a pretty good tournament. If everybody is getting in here who doesn't deserve to be in there, and again, you see it with Panama, Jeff, which national civic pride. They're there for, well, I think for the first time. They actually got their first goal, and it's exciting. But it's a little bit competitive disadvantage, Jeff, when the country is going wild because they got slapped 6-1, but they got a goal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, listen, for a team like Panama, I do respect what they've done. They've come in, they haven't been very good, but again, they got there. They did what they had to do to get there, and again, they have their reasons for that. But as far as Lamia Saeed, no, they don't. Lamia Saeed, they don't need exposure. I'm sure they want exposure, but again, if you're not good, you're not going to win. And I don't think you should just get the opportunity to be in it. Again, it doesn't really matter, no, because they're never going to win anything, so it really doesn't matter. But there's a lot of teams that are really, as far as like in Concacaf, like some of those sides. I mean, yeah, and that's why it's so pathetic the U.S. couldn't get in. I mean, you have a team in Panama who gets in, they're losing 6-1 and all sorts of stuff, and they can't even get into that. It's just kind of I don't know, kind of eye-opening, amazing. But Russia's getting frustrated. Yeah, I'm sure we'll start to see all sorts of shenanigans in this game. Putin's up there probably concerned. He's talking with people. Russia has just been red carded, I believe. Yes, that's a red. This is going to get ugly for the Russians. I got to tell you. And I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier, Donnie. That's all I'm going to say. Good shit is all I'm going to say. Get the hell out of here, Russia. Go walk to the dressing room, shithead. You're out. You're gone.
They already. Oh yeah, but did they already move on? They just did like a celebration game in front of their fans today. It doesn't really no big pressure in this one for them.
They've
Is that
moved
right?
on, but it doesn't matter. You
Yeah.
don't, Donnie. It's not good getting you absolutely crushed right before the knockout stage. Listen, Donnie. What this further shows you is, and I'm going to say it: Russia are absolute frauds. They beat two bad teams. Everybody gets on how great they are. Keep in mind, if Putin wasn't the president, they wouldn't have fucking won. They wouldn't have beat Saudi Arabia 5-0. None of that stuff. They're shit. They're a bad side. And they're getting
Yeah, but
absolutely
Jeff,
taken to
you
task.
got to look at it this way though. Like Russians, we always talk about the Russian mafia, KGB out there, and they're going to pull some strings. Maybe this was the time where he came down to the team and said, "You know what? Look at all the money we won the first two games. We're throwing this one out there. I have Uruguay minus a goal and a half in this one. Make sure that takes place. I don't even want to leave any doubt. Let's get a red card, so we're already down 2-0, and get a red card, Jeff. There might be a celebration dinner out there for Russia tonight."
This is a good move though, by if I guess if you're from a Russian standpoint, because you could just say, well, if anyone says we fix this, we could just say, well,
Yeah. Yep. There
nah,
you go.
we lost
Yeah.
4-0 to
Yeah.
Uruguay. What do you mean? We had nothing, there. So yeah, we
And
just got
we didn't even pay
destroyed.
off the refs. They gave us a red card. So you can't say we paid the refs off. They
Yeah,
never would have gave us a
yeah,
red card. It's all
yeah.
setting up well.
As far as the amount of teams in different sports, I've actually been a big proponent of cutting down that, Donnie. I wish the NBA didn't have so many teams. I think there's way too many teams. As far as Premier League, there's another group, way too many teams. We need to stop giving participation trophies out. Colombia wins, Donnie. Easy win. Poland was absolutely disgraceful in this tournament. Poland was dreadful. I mean, even with the ball, they just looked lost. They had no idea what they were doing. Lewandowski deserves better. Poland was a bad side, Dottie. Colombia bounces back. It's amazing what happens when you get 11 men in your team.
Yeah, and it's also amazing, Jeff, when you spell Columbia wrong on the internet, how many people have a problem with that as Colombia, not Columbia, Jeff. So I
No,
made
it's
sure I got it right there. Right down.
COLO.
Yep, made sure
COLO.
I got it right for him.
Get it right. Colombia is South Carolina. Colombia is Bogota.
Yep.
Belgium, Donnie, is the best team in this tournament. You
They're
heard it here
fun. They're
first.
fun. Yeah, they're a fun
They're
team to
very
watch.
fun. They're a very good side. They are good defensively. They're great offensively. Set pieces are fantastic. They have a star. They're very good. I like Belgium a lot. I'm very happy that I'm on them to win this tournament.
Jeff, by the way, we're going to get over to Germany just in time. And more than importantly than the strike or how amazing it is and how talented some of these guys are, like for me as the casual fan, because look, I got both games on my monitor, I follow through. And once the knockout stages go through, it's going to be a lot of really good pressure filled soccer games. But as the person trying to get into soccer or watching, like, in the NHL, they don't have that high scoring in a lot of games, but it's constant end to end pressure for the most part. It just seems to me like, Jeff, when you come down to the end of the game, when the good teams need it, the last 5 minutes are amazing because it's almost like an assault on the goalie. Like all of a sudden, everything moves up. Everybody's under a rush at this point. Nobody's laying on the ground anymore unless you're trying to, stall from the other side. And it's a full assault going the opposite direction. It's really fun to watch. I just wish the game had more of that than let's feel it out for the first 45, 55, 65 minutes before we all of a sudden turn it on offensively. Because when the good teams need, like the Brazil game, Jeff, when the good teams need it, they flood the offensive zone with chances. And that's fun to watch. I just wish more of it was like that.
Well, I mean, you're going to have teams that have different tactics. I mean, that's just the truth. I mean, some teams, that's just how historically they play. Look, for many years in Italy, in Serie A, the goal was to just defend. You try to get a goal on the counter, and that's your idea. As far as in some leagues and some national teams, the goal is to go forward. I mean, obviously, with better players, with better opportunities, you're going to go forward. Germany, even the way they go forward is a bit irritating because they kind of they're slow going forward. They're passing it around all different ways. And Yeah, again, it's more tacky, it's more interesting, but I think there is something cool about just playing 11 men, you're playing 10 at the back and just defending and trying to figure things out. But it is irritating when you're watching a game and all you see is just, you know, ball hitting the other player, blocks, all sorts of stuff like that. That is fairly boring. But Germany was great. What a wonder kid. What a wonder goal that was. Amazing. Germany. Cruz was fantastic as always. And we see Donnie, and shout out to I forget who tweeted this, maybe Martin Green, somebody like that, someone at SPR. You see how and why Real Madrid are so good. I mean, with guys like Cruz and Modric and all those kind of guys, they're really the anchors of the team, and the midfield's important. Those two, Modric, what a great goal by Cruz, just amazing stuff.
Yeah, Nighthawk Anon has a pretty good question here, Jeff. How come in soccer, like the goalie's always guessing, right? Why don't you just drill it dead straight? Is it because it would be so embarrassing for you that if the goalie actually just froze and didn't move and just stopped it without moving, that you can't do that?
Oh, a lot of people do. I mean, some people do
Yeah,
dead straight. You know, listen. I mean, it's tough to stop a penalty shot. I mean, that's why
it is.
a penalty is tough. I mean, but again, I mean, we've seen where people will lift it, people will kick it wide. I mean, it's not as easy as people think. I mean, go up there in front of the whole stadium. I mean, you got the goalie in front of you, you got the refs, you got happy feet. I mean, it's not as easy as people think. There's a pressure involved, and again, it should be very simple. You just got to go up there and pretend that it's just you and the goal. But um, you got to be confident. That's important. Uh, yeah, but a goal that the Germans remember for a long time. You needed that. You had to win that game. A lot of people needed it for parlays and things like that as well. So shout out to you if you had Germany. They get a great win. Today, World Cup. We move it down, Donnie. We'll go over some of the games today, as we discussed. You have Egypt up 1-0. And from what I'm seeing, they should be up by a lot more. Uruguay up 2-0. Russia is playing with 10 men. So this could get pretty ugly. If anyone interested, Russia 1.8 to score the next goal. So minus 120 to score the next goal. I mean, Uruguay, I'm sorry. Uruguay minus 120 to score the next goal. If you have the ability to bet that, that's not a bad bet. I think Uruguay will score another two here and kind of leave no doubt.
Jeff,
Um,
what about the goalie? Goalie makes the penalty save for Egypt here and stays down, with one of those fake injuries. But I can't hate on him, Jeff, because I did the same thing in high school one time. Scored a touchdown and landed on my hip, but I scored, so I stayed down and made the trainer come out there. Just wanted a little bit of shine. Got to walk off the field, Jeff. You get the two celebrations. You get the cheer from the crowd when you score, and you get the cheer from the crowd when you stand up after you score, where you were quote unquote hurt, and you get to walk off the field, and all the ladies get to see it. It's a good move.
One of the worst arguments, Donnie, in this business is I hate when I hear people talk about soccer players are weak because they fall down all the
They
time.
are.
Uh,
They
They're
are.
not. Okay, first of all, I don't know
Yes,
if
they are.
anyone knows, and I'm gonna explain why they're not. Um, do you understand how how much that hurts to be stepped on or kicked? Keep in mind that the cleats that they're wearing, the boots, they're not heavily padded. They're very, very. There's not much between your foot and another bottom of a shoe. It hurts. I mean, you get stepped on, you get hit in the back of the feet. Listen, you go out and do it, and then you could tell me that it's easy. You have to be a
Obviously, I
particularly
actually wouldn't mind.
athlete.
I actually wouldn't mind it. I think soccer can make a nice ruling there, Jeff. That when you go down and get hurt, like you can stay down as long as you want it if it hurts. And once the ball stoppage is in play out there, like if your team gets the ball, the game can stop at that point. I wouldn't mind that at all.
Well, listen, I mean, they do it in every sport. I remember when Chip Kelly was the coach of the Eagles, people would stay down injured because they didn't, all that kind of stuff. But Donnie, why are there doubleheaders? Donnie's wondering why there's doubleheaders. That's how they do it in soccer, Donnie. They don't want collusion with another
Yep.
game. Both
That's
these
why I put the
games,
question up there. Yep.
yeah, both these games are going on at the same time. They're timed perfectly, so halftimes at the same time and all that kind of stuff. They don't want there to be any funny business throughout the group, so they just do it at the same time. No one, and you know what, Donnie? If you're an American, you should like this because there's no tanking generally. If you're tanking, you decide to do it before the game. You cannot do it before the game, during the game because you don't know the result. You have to go out and play the way you're supposed to. That's why they're doubleheaders. They don't want any collusion throughout the rest of the
Yeah,
group.
like the
Uh,
NFL changed a couple years ago, Jeff, with Week 17 games there. If you have anything to play for, they will match you up at 1 p.m. versus the other team in the other conference that you're going to play at the same time. So you don't get a breather if Tampa Bay loses at 1 o'clock and you clinch the division at 4. You're both out there playing regardless. So I love the move. I think it's a great move. It definitely ends collusion out there. It says like what happens if you had a game today where goal differential, one team has to win by 3, they only win by 2. So what you get to take the day off and not get injured at the next game out there. That's BS. So I like the way they do it.
yeah, exactly. Let's get into today's games here. You got Iran and you got who do we got? Spain and Iran, right? Spain
Portugal.
and Morocco.
Portugal.
Spain and Morocco. Sorry. Let me get the price up on this game. I don't know why it's so fucking difficult. Come on, Bet365. What the fuck?
Oh, we get another penalty kick. Can he go? Can he stop another one?
Which game?
I think we have a penalty kick in the Saudi Arabia game.
Wow, right
Another
before
one.
halftime.
Yeah.
What do we got here? Spain, Morocco. Spain 1.4, Morocco 9.5, draw 4.8. Listen, Spain should be able to get the job done here. Question is, can Morocco score? I don't think they can. I mean, the golf in class is high here. Though Iran did play Spain pretty well. Maybe Morocco could find the back of the net. I would probably lay it though with Spain. Spain just a much better side. They're comprehensive. They're creative. We know what they can do. These two games here, I don't have a ton on. You're basically just get two bad sides against two good sides. I think Portugal at 1.7 might have some value there. I think they'll be able to get the job done against Iran. Both teams are not. I don't love them going forward. I think maybe an under look good here as well. But for me, I have my sights set on this Uruguay game. Need this to get the job done, and then I'll figure out what I'm doing after that. Donnie, do you have any opinion on either of these games? I'm sure you.
I do not, but I will be. I'll be watching this afternoon. We have some baseball in the afternoon. You have 3 and 4 o'clock games. Then you have some soccer this afternoon. I do not because I don't really. I've been watching all along and following along the tournament, but I don't know actually like who needs the win or who goal differential. So I won't be wading into those waters. I'll just wait and probably make sarcastic comments throughout
Well,
the
for
game.
the record, Morocco and Iran are both out. They're not winning
Okay.
anything. Let's get to baseball, Donnie. Let's skip the recap and let's just get into baseball. Unfortunately, we have to cut the show short, Donnie. Even though
I
we
like
didn't do anything,
I
we don't
like
get
it.
extra time today. Let's get into MLB. What do we have on the card to talk about today?
Couple games. Yep, couple games. I mean, just to go recap on the weekend, just real quick there. Interesting. Yankees get swept down there in the dome, which had another dome effort yesterday. Jeff with the ball off the roof that was actually caught yesterday, but that's neither here nor there in Tampa Bay. Last night, Jeff, you know me, I'm an older guy. I go to bed. Phillies are up 6-2. Last night, I wake up, see they lose 8-6. Have no idea even how that was possible. But heading in today, got
They
some good games
stab
after
bad
we put a
pitch.
couple. Yes. I saw even Sir Anthony Dominguez couldn't get the guys out, but come on, 6-2. He got to end up winning that baseball game, man. Amazing. But getting back to today, Jeff, Reds Braves on the docket. Hey, you should get some hits in this one. 905, 906. Maley versus Fultonavich, 71%. Backing the hometown Atlanta Braves, minus 145, minus 150. Sitting around that same range there, Jeff, because when you're looking at Cincinnati, look, we know Cincinnati typically doesn't get the best pitching out there, but there's not a hotter ball club 1 through 8 out there that's just mashing it around. And anytime you have a team, Jeff, that can hit, it seems like in any environment versus any pitching staff and put up 5, 6, 7 runs, you're always going to have a shot. I like Fultonavich. He's the better pitcher in this one. Two good teams at the plate, but right now, man, good luck stepping in front of Cincinnati and just bringing up the Reds, Jeff, from over the weekend. How many people on there like, in the way, oh, Cubs win this first game versus Harvey. Cubs win the second game pretty easy. There's no way to lose. Cubs definitely going to win the third. No doubt the Cubs are going to leave Cincinnati with a win. If you're on a chase system out there just saying the Cubs are better at this point, boy, you took a bath this weekend, didn't you, Jeff?
I'll tell you what, Sharps cleaned up with the Reds this week. And this is what Donnie, this is why people knock and lament Sharps all the time. And I've been one of them, because they do things that practice wise doesn't make sense, from a betting perspective. But I got to tell you, if you hammer away something and you stick with it, eventually you're going to get taken care of. If you're a Sharp out there, you're very happy with the 7-game win streak because Sharps have bet the Cincinnati Reds all year,
Yeah.
good and bad. 7 in a row that they've made a ton of money recently with this team. I got to tell you, they've looked great. I mean, offensively, they're hitting 322 over the last week or so. Tyler Mahley's been very good.
Yep.
You look at his last 3 starts. 17 in the third. He's given up 4 earned runs, 3-0 in those starts. He's got a whip just above 1.2, been very good. You look at Fultonavich, though, he's been good as well. This is one Polish guy that will play well. Maybe his national team hasn't played well, but Fultonavich, from a betting perspective, has been very good. You look at his last 3 starts, 19 innings, only he's given up 2 earned runs, 25 strikeouts, a whip of .68. Both very good pitchers right now between these two. Listen, though, I'm not really looking to step in front of the Cincinnati Reds. This might be the spot, but if I'm getting a price like this back on Cincinnati, 125-ish, 130, I'm going to be on board with Cincinnati here. I'll keep riding them until the wheels fall off. This looks like a pretty favorable matchup. I think get the job done here. Saudi Arabia ties at 1-1. Egypt struggling, not finding ways to get the job done here somehow.
That's a brutal penalty call. That was an awful penalty call in that one. But yeah, getting back to the Atlanta Braves, Jeff. I mean, you're still with Acuna out of that lineup. Seems like no matter who they slide in there, boy, they're great hitters, especially with 2 strikes. I was on the Baltimore Orioles the day before with Bundy on the mound, who was fantastic in that game. And how about Chris Davis? 2 out double off almost had a grand slam in that one. Trumbo did have a grand slam, and still they were holding on for dear life in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. It seems like the Braves just keep coming after. It should be a fun one because, again, if the Cincinnati Reds are down 5-2, they're going to get base runners and drive players in. So it should be a good game out there. Phillies Yankees will start up a series tonight. Yankees need to get back on track. Big number. I mean, hey, look, Velasquez isn't the end all be all, but opens up at 140, 145. Intertop's actually sitting at a minus 150 tonight. Yeah, for the road New York Yankees. Loisiga, I guess it is. How do you pronounce his last name?
Loisiga.
Loisiga. All right, versus Velasquez on the mound. Young guy there. Velasquez, strikeout pitcher. You could strike the Yankees out. Phillies have been some hot bats over the past 2 weeks. Second in Major League Baseball over the last 14 days in weighted on base average. So sort of coming around at this point. Should be a fun game to watch, but it's a big number for the Yankees to be on the road.
Yeah, I'm looking. Over looks pretty good in this game, Donnie. I mean, two pretty good offenses right now. I kind of
Well,
feeling it.
ballpark.
Bullpen for the Phillies is poor. I'm not a big Velasquez fan. I've made that clear in the past. Loisiga is still trying to figure it out as well. I don't have a ton on kind of the side here. Could be a fun game to watch. This would be a good series. I mean, two good teams. Obviously, a little interleague play here down in South Philly. I would look over 9. I think both these offenses will get going. Short porch there, obviously. It's kind of like playing at Yankee Stadium a bit. Did you guys see Iranian fans were outside Ronaldo's hotel with horns didn't want him to sleep? Yeah, I think that's absolutely bush league. I hate that stuff. I hate. Listen, these are people just like you. I had a problem with it with the when the Eagles fans did it at the in the Minnesota game, or vice versa. It's just weak. Let the people. I've done it in the past when I was a kid. I did stuff like that, calling people's hotels and stuff. But you got to remember, these are people just like you and I. They deserve a right to sleep and to be able to live a life. You shouldn't be outside their hotel screaming and stuff at all hours. I don't like that. That's bush league.
Didn't they even hear it though? Like, what are we saying? Like a 2-story hotel? Like, aren't you like 30 floors up where you don't even hear any of that stuff?
Well, keep in mind, these are small towns they're in, Donnie. These aren't big
Yeah.
Russian towns. These are smaller towns. I'm sure if you had 15, 30, 45 people out there blowing something, you would hear it
Oh.
if you're right outside the window. But that's why you got to turn the old air conditioner on and the TV
Yeah.
up. But you shouldn't have to do that. You're Cristiano Ronaldo. You have tons of money. You shouldn't have to do that. Maybe he should just do a Tiger Woods and sleep on his plane or something out in the middle of the
Yeah, no,
runway.
yeah, exactly. Maybe he could have rolled through he could have stayed in his own oil field out there in Russia, Jeff. He's got enough cash.
Yeah. But Donnie, the time has come for us to
Yeah.
ride off into a
For
Monday
bounce.
sunset of fun and sun down here. We are cut short on time, which sucks. Tis tis, as
No, it
we are
doesn't.
for
Less is more.
um,
Less is more, man.
messing up our time. But we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Make sure you join us for that. Enjoy baseball today. You got the World Cup. Hopefully Uruguay can keep it up and win this match. Other than that, I'm the big man on campus. He's Donnie Rightside. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow here on SPRPick.com.